Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really fascinating and, let's be honest, kind of controversial use of AI. We're talking about systems that score your every move to decide what you can and can't do in life. And just so you know, all the information we're covering today comes directly from Chapter 14 of the tutorial, Introduction to Artificial Intelligence, which is put out by Virtualization Options LLC.
Okay, let's just jump right in. I want you to imagine something. What if there was a single score, just one number, that didn't just decide if you could get a loan? What if that same score controlled your job prospects, whether you could travel, and even how fast your internet connection is? It sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, right? Well, the technology is very, very real.
So, let's start with the absolute basics. What exactly are we talking about when we say AI-powered social scores? Let's get a clear definition. At its core, a social credit system is this AI-driven framework that's designed to watch and rate pretty much everything: a person's behavior, their trustworthiness, their social standing. But here's the crucial part. That rating is then used to decide what services and opportunities they get access to. Basically, it's technology that's built to give your character and your actions a grade. Now, to really get a handle on this, let's compare it to something we're all familiar with: a financial credit score. Think about it. Your financial score is pretty limited, right? It only cares about your payment history, your debts, that kind of stuff. A social score, on the other hand, is way, way bigger. It's comprehensive, trying to get a picture of many, many different parts of your life. Okay, so how does a system like this actually function? What's going on under the hood? Let's break down the whole cycle step by step. You can think of it as this constant loop that never stops. It all kicks off with data collection from a huge variety of sources. Next, AI algorithms chew on all that data, looking for patterns. From that analysis, a score gets assigned to you. And finally, real-world consequences are applied. You get rewards for good behavior and punishments for bad. And then the cycle starts all over again, constantly updating your score. Now, to make all this a bit less abstract, we've got to look at the world's most well-known and, frankly, most comprehensive example: China's social credit system. The system in China is pulling in an absolutely incredible amount of information. Yeah, we're talking about the obvious stuff like financial records and legal compliance, but it also includes your social media activity, what you're buying online, your travel patterns, and even who your friends are. It's combining data from government agencies and private tech companies to build this incredibly detailed profile on everyone. And this is where the rubber really meets the road. We get to see the real-world impact. A high score can literally be a key that unlocks all sorts of privileges. Things like getting your loan approved faster, getting priority for your kids in school admissions, or just making travel easier. But a low score? Well, that can lead to some serious restrictions. We're talking about things like travel bans, being blocked from getting certain jobs, or even having your internet speed throttled. So, as you can probably imagine, a system this powerful is not without its critics. It has sparked a huge global debate, and there are some really compelling arguments on both sides. On one side, you've got proponents who argue that these systems are a good thing. They say it encourages people to be more trustworthy and creates accountability. They see it as a way to make life smoother for people who play by the rules. But on the other side, critics are raising some serious red flags about constant surveillance, the potential for unfairness and bias in the algorithms, and the possibility that these systems could be used as powerful tools for social control. Now, it's really easy to hear all this and think of it as something that's happening far, far away. And while China's system is definitely the most famous, the basic idea of using algorithms to score people, well, it's a global phenomenon. This table here does a great job of putting it all into perspective. Up top, you see China's massive system. Below that, you've got the global credit scores we've already talked about, which are just focused on finance. And then, look at that bottom row: platform reputation systems. You probably use these every single day. Think about your rating on a rideshare app or your seller score on an e-commerce site. These are all forms of algorithmic scoring, just with a much, much narrower focus. So the really big takeaway here is that all of these systems, in their different shapes and sizes, point to a growing global trend. We are using AI more and more to evaluate people in ways that have a direct impact on their opportunities and their overall quality of life, whether that's getting a loan, catching a ride, or landing a job. And all of this leaves us with a really fundamental question about our future. As AI gets better and better at judging every little piece of our lives, the real question isn't if we're going to be scored. The real question is, Who gets to be the judge? And maybe more importantly, what happens when we disagree with the verdict?